Hey, this is Ryan Chamberlain. I'm here to talk to you about the law of the big rocks. In my book, Now You Know, chapter 4, titled The Law of the Big Rocks, I set it up this way. I start telling a story that I pulled from a Dennis Waitley book about how you could take a bucket and begin to fill it with elements. And this is kind of the description of how I can make my point on the big rocks and what they actually are. Because let's just say you had a bucket and you filled it with water. So you fill the bucket with water. Obviously, if you fill it with water, if you go to put some sand in there, it's going to overflow. Well, let's say that you fill it halfway with water and the other half with sand, and now the bucket's full and you go to dump some rocks in there. Well, if you dump some small little pebble type rocks in there, it's going to overflow again. You got no room for even the pebbles, much less the big rocks. Where if you were to do it the reverse way, let's say that you started, you took a bucket and you filled it with some big rocks. Well, obviously as the big rocks are being put into this bucket, there's crevices and spaces in between. You could now pour some smaller pebbles and it would fill in. And guess what? It certainly wouldn't overflow. You'd be able to pour some pebbles in there, and then you could probably pour some sand in there because sand is smaller than the rocks and the pebbles, so it would fill into the bucket, and then it would look full as well. But then you could pour some water because water would go down and seep in there. And again, if you started with the big rocks, you could fit everything else in there. And you know what? That's the way network marketing can be for a lot of people. You know, the sand and the water could be conference calls and events, and these things are important. It could be organizing yourself in your home office. It could be, talking to downline, crossline. It could be planning, and absolutely all this stuff is important. But what happens is, in this business, oftentimes we fill our calendar up with all of the water and the sand, and there's no room for the pebbles or the rocks. And you know, pebbles could be some more important things. It could be reading books, listening to tapes and or CDs, and attending trainings, specific trainings that could help us. These are absolutely important. But at the end of the day, if we do all this stuff, even the water, the sand, and the pebbles, we never really get to the big rocks. So what are the big rocks in your Evolve business? The big rocks are simple. Our calendar has got to be filled with what I call qualified appointments. These are appointments that have been given proper information. With Evolve here, these are appointments where people have seen share84.com and they know that they're sitting down or coming to a challenge party to talk about getting healthy. They're coming based on a certain mindset, which of course share84.com helps illustrate that. But these are the big rocks. You know, if we are filling our calendar with the big rocks, with these appointments, it's amazing how everything else can fit in there. The trainings, the conference calls, the book readings will all follow. But if we fill our calendar with all that stuff, we will never have time for the appointments. And those that succeed in this industry, those that are succeeding with Evolve, are first focused and prioritizing their calendar to be filled with the big rocks. We call it the 2020 pace setter. Here with Evolve, the 2020 pace setter is something that if you strive to do on a monthly basis continually, it is going to make sure that you're going to hit your goals here with Evolve. And what this stands for is, in a 28-day period, in a 4-week period, just simply expose 5 people a week or 20 people per month to Share84. It also means you've got to follow up with those 20 people to invite them to the next step. And they may not all be interested, but this is a 2020 pace setter. If you are filling your pipeline, filling your calendar with the big rocks where you're inviting 20 people a month, you're setting appointments from those 20 contacts and follow-ups. If you're really focused on this, you'll be able to do everything else that you're already doing, and it won't feel like you're not moving forward. So the law of the big rocks is important in Evolve, and appointments, qualified appointments using Share84 are the big rocks. Don't ever forget that, no matter how high you hit in this business, that if you want to move to the next level, you've got to have some basic core activity, which is the big rocks.